From dropping a slur on John Cena, to humiliating Trish Stratus on live TV, to pitching a storyline so disturbing his own daughter shut it down, these are Vince McMahon's wildest moments WWE has desperately tried to erase.
Keep it up, my nigga.
Survivor Series 2005, Detroit. A short backstage skit gets scripted, approved, and sent out to a live pay-per-view audience. And what came out of Vince McMahon's mouth has WWE pretending the whole segment never happened. Picture a 70-something white billionaire boss strutting up to John Cena, trying his absolute hardest to look cool with Cena's Doctor of Thugonomics character.
What's up, boss? How you doing?
Yeah. What's good in the hood?
Just hold it down, trying to take care of business.
Then Vince casually drops the soft A version of the slur, struts off feeling like the coolest guy in Detroit, and the camera cuts to Booker T and Sharmell standing there looking like they just witnessed a crime scene.
Keep it up, my nigga.
Booker's reaction was supposed to be the funny punchline. Nobody is laughing now. The segment got scrubbed clean off Peacock like Vince spilled red wine on a white couch. The hypocrisy got really ugly in 2015 when WWE fired Hulk Hogan for using the same word in a private leaked tape. Critics were fast to point out Vince said it on national TV in a scripted segment and kept his job and his entire company. WWE's defense was that it was fictional, satirical character work. Translation, when the boss says it, it's art. Devon Dudley called it absolutely wrong and disgusting. Booker T in 2025 downplayed his own offense, saying the backlash is mostly about who said it. Bruce Pritchard admitted on his podcast it doesn't hold up well. Vince himself? Crickets. Never apologized, just kept moving like nothing happened. But Vince wasn't done making wrestlers do deeply uncomfortable things on live TV. Vince marched Trish Stratus, his on-screen mistress he had just dumped, to the ring. He screamed in her face. He ordered her to get on all fours like a dog. He compared her to his actual female dog and demanded she bark. When she did, he said it wasn't loud enough. When she barked louder, he made her strip to her bra and underwear in the middle of the ring. The segment was built to make Vince the most hated man in America and pay off at WrestleMania X7 when Trish turned babyface and slapped him. It worked, but the optics aged like milk in a hot car. Bob Costas grilled Vince on HBO about degrading women, and Vince snapped at him to shut his mouth. Trish has defended the segment for years, saying the discomfort was the whole point and she trusted the long game. She admitted she hated the pitch when she first heard it. Then Stephanie dumped actual sewage on Trish in the ring while commentary screamed about the smell. And that concept, making people do degrading things on national TV, became a full franchise. The Kiss My Ass Club ran for 7 years. It started November 19, 2001, in Charlotte. William Regal got fired during the Invasion fallout, came begging for his job back, and Vince's price was simple: kiss his exposed backside in front of thousands of people. Regal did it. The club had its first member. A week later in Oklahoma City, JR became member number 2 after Steve Austin refused, hit Vince with a low blow, and laughed while watching. Vince made sure JR paid for laughing. The Undertaker turned heel, knocked JR out, and shoved his face directly into Vince's bare backside, while Vince wore JR's cowboy hat.
JR has been very honest on his podcast about how pointless the whole thing was. He didn't see why the club needed to exist. Michaels got knocked out cold by Shane and had his unconscious face pressed against Vince's cheeks. It finally ended in 2008 when Hornswoggle bit Vince's backside instead of kissing it, and Vince still counted it as official membership. Kurt Angle later said Vince loved immature stuff and acted like a big kid with this whole gimmick. But Vince's love of the immature went even further, all the way to pitching an incest storyline involving his actual daughter. The mid-2000s, Stephanie McMahon was pregnant in real life with her first child with Triple H. In a creative meeting, Vince pitched that Stephanie's character would be revealed to be carrying a baby fathered by her own real-life father, him, Mr. McMahon. Stephanie immediately said no. Vince pivoted and suggested her real brother Shane could be the father instead. She said no to that too. In Netflix's Mr. McMahon docuseries, Vince confirmed the whole thing on camera, smiling like he was telling a fishing story.
So you're wearing the man's hat. What? Now, get over here and kiss his head.
Then he shrugged it off like it was just an idea that didn't quite make the cut.
So one of my storyline ideas was that Stephanie gets pregnant. And I think I was the one who impregnated her, my character.
Stephanie has been crystal clear. She called it completely disgusting and saw zero entertainment value in it. She also pointed out the obvious problem. Vince is her actual father. How would she even fake kiss him on screen? The pitch was dead immediately. Bruce Pritchard confirmed on his podcast that Vince pushed the idea hard and other creative members had to flatly shut it down. The McMahon family stuff that did make it to air was already plenty disturbing. No Mercy 2003 in Baltimore. Vince walked into an arena to wrestle his actual real-life daughter Stephanie in an I Quit match, 6 days before her real wedding to Triple H. Linda McMahon reportedly pulled Vince aside and warned him that if he gave Stephanie a black eye before the wedding, she would personally end him. The match was billed as career versus career. Vince dominated nearly the whole thing, throwing Stephanie around for most of it. Then, the finish. Vince grabbed a lead pipe and used it to choke his own daughter unconscious. Linda threw in the towel from ringside to stop it. The visuals are genuinely disturbing. Commentary called it hard to watch in real time. The match is now widely considered one of the most uncomfortable in WWE history. WrestleCrap inducted it. Vince never apologized. But sometimes the karma for Vince's behavior came in a very physical, very disgusting form. July 3rd, 2006, Monday Night Raw. D-Generation X had reformed. Triple H and Shawn Michaels had been making Vince's life miserable for weeks. Vince, Shane, and the entire Spirit Squad marched to the stage to confront them. That's when the heavens opened up. Several thousand pounds of manure mix came pouring down from above, completely drenching everyone in sloppy brown sludge. They slipped, they gagged. Jerry Lawler on commentary screamed about seeing corn in the mixture. The substance was a TV prop, mud, chocolate, and fake manure designed to look and smell as repulsive as possible. The crowd lost their minds. DX laughed while the most powerful man in wrestling sat in a puddle of fake poop in a suit. This was peak 2006 Raw. Bruce Pritchard has confirmed that Vince personally pushed scatological humor constantly. The man owned a billion-dollar company, and his comedy was poop jokes. But Vince's love of bodily humor wasn't just for TV. There's a real-life story about him soiling his own pants and chasing people around the office that wrestlers still tell at conventions. According to multiple locker room insiders, Vince tried to fart in Gerald Briscoe's face as a prank to make him vomit. It did not go according to plan. Instead of producing the fart he intended, Vince McMahon, billionaire chairman of WWE, defecated in his own pants at work. A normal person would quietly disappear to the bathroom, not Vince. According to the legend, he continued chasing Briscoe around the office wearing the soiled pants, and then allegedly wore those same pants on Raw that night and kept chasing people backstage at the actual TV taping. Some accounts even claim Vince removed the soiled underwear and chased people around with it on a stick. The details vary by podcast, but the core story is consistent across multiple sources. Vince, pants, accident. No shame whatsoever. The same man who built the most powerful wrestling company in history. The same man who hosted Royal Rumbles and made stars out of Austin, Hogan, Cena, and countless others. His idea of office fun was using a bathroom accident as a weapon. But while soiling his pants was bad, what he did on television to his comatose wife was arguably worse. SmackDown, March 8, 2001. Linda McMahon's character had been written into a scripted coma, wheeled-bound, drooling, described as over-medicated by her own husband. And Vince decided this was the perfect time to publicly cheat on her with Trish Stratus. He wheeled Linda out to ringside himself, mocked her condition openly, and made out with Trish in a long, theatrical kiss right in front of her. The entire point was that Linda could see and hear everything, but couldn't do anything about it. In Netflix's Mr. McMahon docuseries, Vince addressed it.
I think it was something like that. It was like, no, that one didn't make it.
Wrong segment. That was Stephanie. For the Linda segment, Vince explained in the doc that he kissed Trish in front of his wife in a wheelchair specifically to show how despicable his character was. His words, "You couldn't get any more despicable." He had a point. Trish has actually defended Linda's involvement enthusiastically, saying Linda was super cool about it, and even suggested having Trish kiss Linda on the forehead because, in Linda's own words, it would irk so many people. So the real-life family had the real-life wife suggesting how to make the scene more upsetting. Wild. The angle paid off at WrestleMania X7 when Linda dramatically rose from her wheelchair and slapped Vince across the face during his match with Shane. Crowd exploded. But after Vince's real-life sexual misconduct allegations exploded in 2022 and 2024, the whole angle took on a much darker tone in retrospect. Then there was the time Vince tried to fake his own death. Monday Night Raw, June 11, 2007, Mr. McMahon Appreciation Night. The whole roster came out to deliver tributes, most of them sarcastic and hostile. By the end, Vince looked broken and alone. He walked through the backstage area in silence, got in his limo. The limo exploded in a massive fireball. Raw went off the air with WWE telling the world Vince McMahon was dead. WWE.com published a story treating the death as completely real. Firefighters, federal agents, investigation ongoing. Real news outlets called WWE to confirm. The stock dipped 1.8%.
Donald Trump personally called WWE headquarters, genuinely believing his friend had died in a real explosion. Triple H later recalled on radio how many people called in a complete panic. The whole stunt was a controlled pyro effect film in advance. Vince was never in any danger. The plan was to slowly reveal he had faked the whole thing over several weeks. Then real life ended it. Less than 2 weeks later, June 24th and 25th, 2007, the Chris Benoit double murder-suicide happened. WWE had a real death on its hands. Vince appeared on Raw in an empty arena to address the actual loss. The fictional limo explosion was quietly buried, never resolved, never addressed officially again. A kayfabe funeral was filmed and never aired. It now exists as wrestling lost media. And while bad timing killed the limo angle, what Vince approved for Triple H and Kane was rotten from the very start. October 21st, 2002. Triple H wanted to destroy Kane mentally in their feud. Vince greenlit a storyline where Kane was accused of having sex with the corpse of his dead girlfriend Katie Vic on Monday Night Raw. Approved by adults, aired on national television. Triple H accused Kane of drunk driving, crashing his car with Katie inside, killing her, and then committing necrophilia with her body. The feud built for weeks. Then came the funeral home segment, widely considered the single lowest point in WWE creative history. The footage showed Triple H wearing a full Kane mask and singlet, standing over an open casket containing a mannequin dressed as Katie Vic. The funeral home was a real working funeral home, reportedly with an actual wake happening on the other side of the wall during filming. Triple H climbed into the casket and simulated sex with the mannequin. The punchline was, "I screwed her brains out," while pretending to throw fake brains at the camera. Vince reportedly loved this segment. He was laughing uncontrollably backstage and kept repeating the punchline for days. Multiple crew members were so disturbed they reportedly quit. Bruce Pritchard confirmed on his podcast that Vince personally pushed the angle hard and overrode internal objections. He has since called it a collective failure that should never have aired. Triple H has expressed regret in multiple interviews, saying he questioned what they were doing while filming it, but performed it as directed. Jim Ross called it an embarrassment to professional wrestling. Jonathan Coachman called it one of the most repulsive storylines ever made. The original plan was even worse. A character named Scott Vic was supposed to debut at WrestleMania to avenge Katie. That got scrapped when WWE realized they had already gone too far. Katie Vic remains the gold standard for WWE storylines that weren't just bad in hindsight. They were rotten the very moment Vince said yes.